It's coming up on Christmas season, and everybody is out there doing all their shopping online for most of you. And have you ever thought about what happens between clicking the Order Now button and to when the package arrives at your doorstep? A lot of your packages don't come from the store down the street. They come from different states, different countries, even across the ocean. In fact, a lot of your packages probably come from across the ocean. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how that happens. So off the top of your head, you might think of, various methods of transportation. You might think of some boats, trains, planes, cars, trucks, all those things. All those things are involved in getting the packages to your house. Now, we actually had an interesting phenomenon at the beginning of this year, or I guess around March, but I think a lot of you may have noticed that a lot of things were just not stocked in the stores. We were out of toilet paper, flour, and various other goods. And the reason is not necessarily because we were actually out of flour or toilet paper. The problem was there weren't enough people to ship them from warehouses to the stores. And so today we're going to talk about how we could, as people who are in the future going to be designing those processes, how we can come up with some better ones. And we're going to start with designing some of those today on our own.
So what we want you to do is to look up different transportation methods for cargo. So look up how they ship things through the air, over the water, on land, and look up maybe pros and cons of these different methods. And then today we're going to be focusing on shipping stuff across the water. And so we'll have you design your own method of shipping something across the water. So go and look up some ideas and pros and cons of different methods, and you can pause the video now.
Our design challenge today is to build a boat and to get it from one end of the bucket to the other, carrying a golf ball. And we're going to use different methods, different ways of propelling the boat. It can be with a propeller, it can be with air, it can be with whatever you can think of, whatever is going to be the best way for you to figure out the problem.
Okay, first up we're going to need a few things like these household supplies.
The first thing we need to do is ask ourselves questions. The beginning of any design process. You need to ask questions like, what does it need to do? What are the requirements that it needs to fulfill? How will you do those things? You need to think of your own questions, and we've provided a worksheet. You can write some of them down. And once you've thought of those questions, take some time, look up some different designs, brainstorm some ideas, and try and get a working sketch of what you think you're going to do with your boat. Is it going to have a big sail? Is it going to have a propeller on it? Whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to do to create your boat or transportation method across this water. It doesn't have to be a boat if you can figure something else out. But whatever you think of, get it down on paper. So we're going to give you some time now. Pause the video and go get that down.
Here we're just working on our different boats. You can see that we're putting the different things to test in their water bin, and we're trying different things. We're doing pivots on our designs, changing things, and we're doing things that we feel will work, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, and we're working on different ideas for propulsion and to keep things stable in the water, as well as working on some cars just for the fun of it. Okay, now that you've got your ideas down on paper, we want you to go and try building them. And if it doesn't work, keep trying, try a few different things, make design iterations. But every time that you change something, I recommend you write it back down on the paper so that you can see all the steps you went through to get to your final design that worked. What are you waiting for? Go build it!
And you can pause the video now.
So here's a design that I tried, and what it is, it's a really simple boat. It's made out of some styrofoam plate and some tin foil to give it the mass that it needs to the surface area to hold it up on the water. And then it's a balloon rubber banded to a straw that comes out the bottom and is angled this way so that when you let the air out, it pushes out through the back and propels it forward across the water. And some issues that this had is that sometimes when the golf ball is on it, it makes it a little bit unstable, so it kind of sinks. And so if I were to continue with this boat, I would find a way to make it a little bit more stable so that it could meet all of the design parameters.
It's going, it's going. Okay, here we have my design. This is what I attempted to build for our transportation design. We have here, as you can see, a sailboat with what appears to be a propeller on the back. It does work sometimes. Unfortunately, that was the problem I was having with it. And you might experience some problems too where your first design doesn't work. I was initially trying to make this propeller driven. It's got a rubber band here. You twist it up and then it spins, as you can see there. Unfortunately, the rubber band kept getting stuck and I wasn't able to consistently have it go across the thing. So I also attached this sail. It's a very simple sail. You just fan some wind at it, or if there's natural wind, it would catch it and move it forward. We also have here a little golf ball compartment so that the golf ball is stable and doesn't move around. And it's made from styrofoam, which floats.
As you can see, we had boats that worked well and boats that didn't work as well. This is all part of the design process, and now's the time to reflect on what went well in your project and what didn't go well. Go look around at other people's designs and see what you can improve on in your own design. We want you to write it down on your paper, analyze what you did, and go back and rework those things that didn't work as well and make them better. Alright, so maybe think about, what if things were a little bit different? What if you had to carry more weight? Or what if you needed to get there in a faster time? These are all things that engineers and people think about when they're making their designs. So if you have time, go ahead and maybe do some of those things and see if your projects still work or make them work better. And go ahead and reflect on what you could do better and do it again.
I totally blanked on what I'm gonna say, so
I got nothing
Yeah.
else.